The notification came while I was reviewing a merger contract. An anonymous number, one photo, no caption. A silhouette. Her silhouette. My wife. Pressed against the window of a hotel suite I didn't recognize. At first I couldn't breathe. Not because of the image. Betrayal has a shape you can learn to recognize. But because of the timestamp in the corner. 11:02 p.m. Her birthday. The night she told me she was too tired to go out. The same night I spent alone drafting acquisition strategies for the law firm. My phone buzzed again. Another image. This time clearer. A hand that wasn't mine. A reflection in the glass. Male, shirt undone, leaning into her. The room around me fell silent. Even the hum of the office AC seemed to step back, giving space to the quiet collapse happening inside my chest. My pulse didn't spike. I didn't shake. Cold does not tremble. It calcifies. I stared at the screen, letting the truth settle into my bones like winter. Then I locked my phone, slid it face down on the desk, and returned to reviewing the contract. Or at least, that's what it looked like. Inside, the floor had already started shifting. And I knew this wasn't a random message. Someone wanted me to see. Someone wanted me to wake up. That night, for the first time in years, I looked at my wife differently. Not as the person I married, but as a pattern I hadn't fully solved. Not yet. The signs were small. They always are. Betrayal begins in whispers, not explosions. She stopped kissing me goodbye. Stopped asking about my cases. Stopped waiting up at night. Her phone lived face down. Her smile lived somewhere else. Whenever I asked how her day went, she'd answer with a rehearsed good, then return to scrolling, lost in someone's unseen gravity. But I ignored it. Because busy men tell themselves comforting lies. Because law firms consume marriages quietly. Because believing her was easier than believing myself. And then came the birthday dinner. $1,000 per head steakhouse. Her friends laughing too loudly. Her sister glaring at me with that familiar superiority, like she knew something I didn't. They ordered the Wagyu platter. They ordered wine older than my marriage. And when the waiter finally reached me, pen ready, she didn't meet my eyes. She just said, "Oh, we didn't order for you." Her friends laughed. Her sister smirked and added, "You should have packed snacks." I looked at the empty plate, the polished fork, the glistening knives, and something inside me settled. Not broke, settled. A quiet voice rose in me, steady and clear. She is not with you. She is using you, and she thinks you don't see it. I smiled, small, controlled. Good to know. They kept laughing, mistaking calm for weakness. But the message from earlier kept replaying in my mind like a looped confession. Something was wrong. Something was bigger than disrespect at a dinner table. Someone had already shown me the first crack. Now it was time to follow it to the end. I started with her phone records. Not by touching her device. She guarded that thing like a second heartbeat. But through our shared mobile account. A simple login. A simple search. One number, repeated. Daily. Late. Long. I traced it to a private banking officer. A man who worked with luxury clients. A man who owned a penthouse that matched the reflection in the photo. I didn't react. Instead, I built distance. Slow. Quiet. Invisible. At the firm, I pulled up property records. Transfers, liens, acquisitions. The penthouse belonged to a holding company. He was a silent partner. And 3 months ago, a new beneficiary was added. Her name. She wasn't just cheating. She was being positioned, funded, supported, set up for a life I wasn't part of. Yet every night she came home smelling of someone else, but speaking like nothing had changed. I watched. I listened. I documented everything. I kept my voice calm, my expressions leveled, my routine unchanged. Because predators watch for weakness, but revenge, Revenge watches for timing. I ordered a DNA test, not for a child, but for the skin cells on one of her dresses. A private lab owed me favors. I requested camera footage from the hotel where the pictures were taken. Ownership owed me respect. Piece by piece, I rebuilt her secret life like a case file, until the last puzzle piece arrived. The final footage, her walking into that penthouse, laughing, holding his arm, wearing the same necklace I gave her on our last anniversary. I played the clip once, then again, not to feel the pain, but to memorize the truth, to prepare for the moment she'd face it. The morning the evidence file arrived, she was in the kitchen scrolling through her phone, smiling at something that wasn't me. I placed the envelope on the counter. She glanced at it, then at me. "What's this?" I didn't respond. I simply slid it toward her. She opened it, her face drained. Photos, call logs, property documents, security footage, proof, layered, undeniable. Her lips trembled first, then her hands. I can explain." I nodded slowly. "Go ahead." She didn't speak. Her breath shook. Her excuses died before birth. All that remained was silence, a guilty silence that filled the kitchen like smoke. For the first time in years, I felt absolutely nothing for her, nothing but clarity. That night, I took her back to the same $1,000 steak restaurant, same table, same lighting, same empty chair next to her. She arrived timid, small, drowning in guilt she tried to hide under perfume. When the waiter approached, he asked gently, "Will you be ordering the usual tonight?" I leaned back, eyes on her. "No," I said. "Tonight, she'll be paying for everything." Her breath hitched. "What?" I placed 2 documents on the table, the property reversion papers and the breakup agreement that stripped her of every financial tie she thought she'd secured. Her lover had signed them earlier that day, after I paid a visit to his firm with evidence that could end his career. She looked at the papers, then at me, then back at the papers. "Please," she whispered, "don't do this." I smiled exactly the way I did the night she mocked me with her friends. "Good to know how you really live." Her eyes filled, but tears had no power here. I stood, left her with the bill, left her with the truth, left her without a future built on my name. People think betrayal hurts. It doesn't. It empties. It clears. It carves out a space inside you where emotion used to live and replaces it with understanding. I didn't lose her. I lost the version of myself that believed she loved me. That's the freedom. As I stepped out into the cold night air, the city lights reflected in the glass storefronts like fragments of something I no longer needed. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Some endings don't require closure. Some endings are closure. And this one ended the moment I learned to eat at an empty table without feeling empty myself.